What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Broadway Joel, the boxing guru. If this is your first time here, please hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, thanks for coming back. So today I want to talk about how Logan Paul and Jake Paul can possibly be good for boxing. In my last video, I spoke about how the Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight was actually bad for boxing. So I mentioned in the other video, I like when these types of fight are undercards, because it brings attention to a real boxing event. So for example, the Jake Paul versus Ensign Gibb fight, sorry if I said that wrong, it was on the Tevin Farmer versus Jojo Diaz undercard. The Jake Paul versus Nate Robinson, it was on the undercard of Mike Tyson versus Evander Holyfield. Logan Paul versus KSI, it was on the undercard of a Devin Haney fight, as well as a fight with Billy Joe Saunders in separate fights. So them being on the undercard brings attention to a whole event, and I think that's good for boxing. So if they were to do more of that, on fighting on undercards of fighters who are particularly not as popular as the Paul brothers, but are super talented, but for whatever reason are not resonating with the public, them being on the undercard could definitely help. So and if they are going to fight in the main event, I think one fight Logan Paul should fight is against Terence Crawford. Now, I know we all want to see Terence Crawford against Spence. We don't want to see him against a YouTuber. But the reason why I say that is because Errol Spence is now in a fight. He has a signed contract. I want to say it's in August, to fight against Manny Pacquiao. In that fight, his resume is going to be way past Terence Crawford, as well as his popularity, because if he wins that fight, he will have beaten a legend and a guy who still has some left in the tank. His last fight, he beat Keith Thurman, and he might have 3 out of the 4 belts, depending on what the WBA does. And Terence Crawford is going to have 1 belt. So Terence Crawford's leverage in negotiations is going to be deeply hindered, especially if he doesn't fight somebody who's popular. Now, if he was to fight, let's say, a Logan Paul, that pay-per-view may sell $1 million, $1.5 million, and he'll have something to come to the table and be like, hey, listen, I just did the fight with this guy. I got a whole bunch of notoriety. I got introduced to a bunch of casual fans that usually are not familiar with me. So it helps Crawford in the negotiation table if his fight becomes, you know, a much bigger fight, a much bigger event, excuse me. And as well as, you know, Terence Crawford is an offensive fighter. Terence Crawford is coming to knock you out. So it won't be like Mayweather, Logan Paul. Terence Crawford, and he's an offensive fighter who doesn't mind getting hit. So it'll be entertaining for as long as it lasts, and knockouts are always entertaining. So I think he will get the knockout. We can make this fight in Florida. The Florida Boxing Commission seems to be very lenient on terms of weight and glove size, and allowing knockouts to happen. So it will also introduce Terence Crawford to a whole new Latino community if the fight's done in Miami. And I think it would be really beneficial, especially if the fight's maybe on ESPN, because Terence Crawford currently is still in contract with Top Rank, who does all their fights on ESPN. So you got the biggest sports conglomerate supporting and putting it on pay-per-view possibly. But yeah, that's my video, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Definitely leave me a comment what you guys think of my idea, Terence Crawford versus Logan Paul. Hit a like, comment, and follow me on Twitter @_BroadwayJoel. All right, guys, until next time. Peace.